Hello, everyone. So we're going to touch on Hapara and work toward workspace for teacher dashboard. It's a little involved, but once you get it, it will be so easy. But I wanted to start out by saying that I am creating this video using Active Inspire tools. And when I'm in tools, I go to more tools, screen curator, and full screen recorder. You have to make sure you have a microphone, but this will let you record anything that's on your screen. So it's a great tool. I'm going to minimize Active Inspire because I don't need it. And then I'm going to go to my Hapara. This is the icon for the Hapara. If you don't have it, then if you go into your, we call it a little Google Docs waffle, if you will, if you go into there, then you should be able to find it as well. So once you're in the waffle, it will show you all of the apps available for you, and up here is Hapara Dashboard. So I'm going to click on that. And once I click on that, I'm going to see my various classes. Now, you're going to have classes for whatever you teach plus your homeroom. So you'll have, if you're 8th grade math, then you'll have your 4 classes for math, and you'll have one for your homeroom. Same thing with science. You'll have 4 science, and you'll have one for your homeroom. So those will be, you might have 3 and 1, but those are what those are for. So you can, if you'd like, once this comes up, you can click on the pencil or pen, and if you'd like, you can change the color for each grade level or for each room, however you want to do it, just by clicking on the color and clicking save. So I just made my cell text pink. If I want to make both of my oops, that was the wrong thing, sorry. If I want to make both of my 6 grades green, I'll click on the pencil and I'll click on green. I'll click on the pencil here and I'll click on green. So now they're both changed. I could give the class a nickname. If I would like to do that, that would be fine. So I don't know which one I was in, so I'm not going to nickname them, but I am going to save, and I'm going to save. So now my 6 grades are both green. When I go to this one, this is Mr. Craze, this is Sean, so I'm going to go here, and I'm going to make his, oh, I don't know, I already have a blue, I'll make his green and black striped. And I'll come in here, and this class nickname could be Mr. Craig. And I could say save. So right from the get-go, I can change my classes if that's what I want to do. If you're fine with the way they are, then that's okay. So once I'm in the opening screen, it will have manage classes, workspaces. It will show you some classes here. I'm going to find a class that I'm going to use for a demonstration. And the one I'm going to use is 5207 because I have a student's username and password that I'll use to show the student end of things. So I'm going to click here. And when I click here, I see that these students in this class have one document in the technology folder. Now, it's not going to show me the work papers for the other classes. It will show me what's in there for technology. So when I go to look at it, I can do something right from the very beginning. Once I pull the class up, then I could come right over here and I could send them a message. And in the message, I could say whatever I'd like to say. I could send the message to a group. I could send the message to everybody, to a group, or to one individual. So in send message to students, I have 170 maximum characters. I could just say, good morning, class. Today we will be working on research. Let's do it this way, Google Docs, whoops, research. All right, let's do it this way. We will be working on research using Google Docs as a tool. Okay, and then I send the message. Okay. And then all of them will receive a message at the bottom. So that could be how I start my day out for them. All right, so that would work that way. That would be this symbol right here. This, I'm sorry, the speak bubble right here. That would be how I would send them a message. Right now, I look and I see that they're offline. That means that they're not using their Chromebooks right now. So I can see that just from looking on there. Now, say I want to send them a special document that I've created. I don't want them to go into their technology folder and create it and name it themselves, because I want the name to be something that is familiar to me, so that when I'm looking at some of their work, I know that there's a conventional name for how we saved the work. So for instance, I'm going to go to Smart Share, which is up here. I don't know why it's doing this. Let's see what's going on here. It should be available, so I don't know what's going on. I've been using it all day. Let's see, Smart Share. Okay, so I'm going to go to Smart Share, and I'm going to not get something from my drive. I'm going to send them something to work on. So I would like them to work in a Google Doc, and I would like the Google Doc, for me, I would like their last name first, so I can put this percent sign L, and then a comma and a space, and percent sign first, and a comma and a space. And I can call this, let me see, I'll say using Google Docs to research for research. I'll just say for research. All right. I don't have to do anything over here. I want everybody to get a copy. I go over here and I say send it to these students. When I go over here, I want to say, well, let's all of them. Okay, let's have all of them get this. And then when I say propagate, I'm going to click on OK, and you're going to see that it's sending the docs over to each student technology folder. Of course, it will send it to whatever folder you are working with, but that's where it's going to send it. So sometimes it takes a few minutes, sometimes it goes pretty quickly. You can send these at night and get your classes all set up if that's what you'd like to do, so that they're ready for the morning. So right now we're just waiting for them to all show up. There we go. Okay. So now it's in there, and I know now I can close this, and it says 0 minutes. So I know this one is Miranda, Alejandra Miranda, and using Docs for Research, I can see that it's empty. I can see the updated date, I can see when it was last viewed, and who it's accessible by. So that's how I can get a document into their folders in Hapara. On their end, they would open it up and they would start working. Once they start working, as it's opened, then I can add comments and go that way. I'm not going to look at the sharing right now, but I will look at the highlights. And the highlights, okay, in the highlights, there is an activity viewer, and when I click on that, it will show me the class activity. There is no activity right now because the Chromebooks are off. If they were on, this would be filled in with who's on what site and where they've been and those sorts of things. The browser tabs would also list the students, and in here it would show me the tabs, and in the tabs, if I see something that I don't want the student to be on, I can click and close it. If that student is a frequent flyer and likes to keep going, to do his or her own thing, then I can go to current screens and look at the screens. And then I can go to snaps and I will be able to snap the page that they're on. So snaps are created in Activity Viewer by hovering over the links and clicking on the camera icon. So it will give us a snap of where that student is, so that if we need it for a parent meeting, we'll have it and we'll say, multiple times, students are to be working here, here, or here, directions are not to go here, and, we can kind of use it that way if we need to. Okay, so that is how to get a document to your students, give a comment. But say they're working and you'd like them all to go to the same place. Then what you would do is click on the link. And when you click on the link, now let's take a look. We can be in, not dashboard, because that's going to bring us back to here. No, that's incorrect. We could be in dashboard. All right, when we're in dashboard, we could click on this link and we can open some tabs for those students. So when we open a tab, we have the opportunity to go to the whole group, go to a group, a small select group, or go to individual students. If we click on this little bullseye here, then we can limit where we want them to go. So we can limit browsing on only these pages. So we could have a couple sites up here and give them as much time as we'd like them to be able to spend on just what we have selected for them. I believe it will close their other pages, and then they'll have to, they'll only have the pages open that are sent to them. And then it should restore afterwards. Sometimes it gets a little sticky and they have to refresh their page or close and come back in again. Sometimes there's just a little glitch with that. So you would just click on a page, and you would say limit time to 15 minutes if that's what you want, and limit browsing to anywhere in these sites. Okay, and then you would say open tabs. Okay, so it says you're about to open tabs for the whole class and gives you some information. It does a countdown here, so you know how much time is left. Again, these students' Chromebooks are off, so we can't really see any of the activity right now. So I'm going to go to close tabs on that. All right. And okay, so that's using the dashboard. We haven't gone into making groups yet, but for right now, this will give you a pretty good start on where you want to go. These are the group filters, and you can put your names however you want. So you can have last name or first name. It just puts them in that order, but they're still going to be last name, first name, last name format by doing that. Okay, and yep, and 5 items. You could go down, and right now the window for each student's file will show 5 items. But if you wanted to show 15 or if you wanted to show 25, it will just make those bigger, and then you're good to go on that. Okay, so it's a very quick overview of how to use just Hapara without workspace. Oh, finally, I'm sorry, if you go to class info, when you click on class info, then you will see that particular class and all of its students. If you go to open class folder, you'll be in your drive. So if you're in your drive, there will be a technology folder for 5207, and when you open it, all of the students' folders for that particular subject area will show up in there. So if you, for instance, wanted to look at the technology for Abraham, you would click on his. Now, if there's a little person here, that just means it's shared. Okay. All right. So that's how to basically work with just Hapara. And we're going to move on to workshop a little bit later.